the Mountain West, and we welcome you to Bulldog Stadium here in Fresno, California. The Fresno State Bulldogs play host to the Nevada Wolfpack. A very pleasant good evening to you. Glad to have you along. Mike Cousins with former UCLA and NFL quarterback Tom Ramsey. Well, it's a bit of an uphill climb for both of these teams at this point, with Fresno State at 2-6, 1-4 in conference play, and Nevada at 4-4 and 2-2 in the West Division. Everybody trying to catch San Diego State.
Well, they are. The Aztecs are playing really well right now, and you know, between Nevada and Fresno State, there's no love lost. Of course, Fresno State winning the last three over the last 3 years, and so this game becomes pretty important when you start looking at, hey, can we get to a bowl game or not? And the climb becomes much more difficult with the fourth-string quarterback Kilton Anderson for Fresno State, but he's got some help with his running back Martez Waller. Yeah, Kilton Anderson getting his fourth start of the year as well. He had a rough outing the last time out against Air Force, throwing at a 35% clip, so they want to get him on track tonight. He's both a runner and a passer, and he had a good game a couple weeks ago against UNLV. It was a big win for them, and of course, Martez Waller, one of the top backs in the conference right here, snapping off a 38-yard winner against the Rebels of UNLV, and I expect him to get the ball quite a bit tonight. Nevada has no trouble in the backfield with the duo of Don Jackson and James Butler. No, they complement each other very well. Don Jackson, the senior, James Butler, of course, a sophomore. He rushed for 134 yards the last time out against Hawaii, and these guys want to wear down that Fresno State defense. They'll both come and hit you in the mouth. They're both really effective runners. They'll hit the hole hard, and I expect them to get a lot of carries tonight. Third year at the helm for their head coach, Brian Polian, the 40-year-old who grew up in Buffalo, New York, has worked under Charlie Weiss, Jim Harbaugh, David Shaw, Kevin Sumlin, and on the other side, 3+ seasons in, is Tim DeRuyter, 1985 graduate of the Air Force Academy, where he played linebacker, 28-20 in his tenure at Fresno State. Nevada set to kick it away. They won the toss and chose to defer. Brent Zuzo lets it fly. Here comes Fresno State. Damari Scott on the kickoff return. And down he goes past the 40-yard line. Nice way to get things going for the Bulldogs. Nice way to jumpstart your offense, too. Give them good field position. For the redshirt freshman, Kilton Anderson from Naples, Florida, as you said, making his fourth career start today. Getting final instructions from offensive coordinator Dave Schramm. And, of course, Dave Schramm does not script plays. He just gets a feel for the game coming out. Saw the numbers on Kilton Anderson and expect him to control the ball in the offense tonight. And Anderson goes down. Taken to the ground by Matthew Lyons with nowhere to throw the ball. Matt Lyons is the guy they don't have anyone accounted for. He's a free rusher, comes off the edge, and he just does a nice job keeping leverage outside, bringing Kilton Anderson down. It's a nice look right there. Number 9, Matt Lyons, the second leading tackler on that Wolfpack defense. On a second down and 18, Anderson is hit. The ball is loose, and it's locked. That's a remarkable play. Not only did Matt Lyons make a great play, Ian Seau, who is coming off being the Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Week, he comes unblocked and just rakes the ball out of Kilton Anderson's hands, and then it's a mad scramble. And who's there? The unaccounted for defender again. No blocking on Matt Lyons, comes and scoops it. Scoop and score for the Wolfpack. Damari Scott and Malik Meisenheimer are back to receive. Scott took it out on the last try, and this time takes a knee in the end zone, so they'll come out 1st and 10
at the 25-yard line for Fresno State. Waller through the whole left side. Lowers his shoulder, keeps pounding, back-to-back carries and back-to-back first downs for Waller and Fresno State. Pickup of 12 for the senior. We apologize for the audio technical difficulties we're having here tonight in Fresno State, but glad to have you along nevertheless as Fresno State matches up with Nevada here at home. Back-to-back big carries by Waller, and he's spelled by Dustin Garrison. This pass is tipped and incomplete. Patrick Chowdo along the defensive line got his hand on it, and not two complete drives in. That highlights how difficult it's going to be for Fresno State to move the ball through the air tonight. Anderson comes in, completing just 47% of his passes, 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions for a guy who started the year 4th on the depth chart at quarterback this year. Their first 2 options went down with season-ending injuries, and Zach Greenlee, the sophomore behind him at number 2 on the depth chart, ruled not to be the better option at this point compared to Anderson, a guy who they say has a very vibrant attitude about him and really inspires confidence in the rest of his teammates. And it's been interesting for Fresno State, a team that has been very successful over the last several years, that the energy and attitude around this football team is still exceedingly positive despite being 4 games under 500 this late in the season. Second down after the incomplete pass, dumping it out to the flat and nowhere to go with it. Chad Olson, the tight end, makes the catch and is immediately cut down by Elijah Mitchell, the junior quarterback from Corona, California. Gonna have to make quick throws with Anderson, who still has a long way to go on his decision making. He's a young guy. Olson with his 11th catch of the year sets him back 2 yards, so it's 3rd down and 12.
Check.
Defensive line spread wide, expecting the pass. The Wolfpack brings 6. Anderson takes off and trips his way across the 50-yard line. Asani Rufus, the safety, lowered his shoulder to trip him up, and it's 4th down. So the offense comes off the field for Fresno State. 2 drives, 1 a fumble that led to a touchdown recovery by Nevada. And now Andrew Selledge back deep to receive the punt from Garrett Swanson. Selledge back at his own 10-yard line. Swanson about a 42-yard average on those kicks this year. Fair catch is signaled for, and it takes a hop inside the 5-yard line where it's recovered by Fresno State. Michael Martins gets a hand on it. Nevada up 7. Offense coming up. Welcome back to Fresno, California. Mike Cousins and Tom Ramsey, glad to have you along here as the Nevada offense takes the field for the first time tonight. Scoring about 26 points a game, which puts him 9th in the Mountain West. It's an offense, though, as we talked about right off the top of the show, with 2 good running backs and a young quarterback in Tyler Stewart. Only start prior to this year for him was against Hawaii in 2013. So it's building upward for Nevada and head coach Brian Polian and their offensive coordinator Nick Rolovich. The Bulldogs had that snuffed out on the run from Don Jackson. Adro Ederaine getting his helmet in there, the team's leading tackler.
Ederaine's really having a nice season. Senior from Corona, very active off the edge. And taking a look at Nevada's offense, you know, FBS 24th ranked rush offense, 212 yards a game, and that's really all in part to Don Jackson and James Butler. They are really effective, but you have to have that third spoke of the wheel, which is the quarterback running.
Pressure, a nice job to avoid it. And a throw back to the line of scrimmage, caught by Richardson, who was the motion man preceding the play, and he uses his speed to pick up a few yards before Tobena Okeke wraps him up.
And Richardson, of course, the leading receiver for Nevada, but I thought Tyler Stewart did a nice job that time extending the play. He kept his eyes down the field, and I thought he was going to tuck it and go, but he stayed with Richardson.
Third down and 4 for Nevada. Henderson in motion. Stewart now flushed out of the pocket. Got to get rid of it, and he drops it off. Out of bounds at the 30-yard line. First down catch by Henderson. Their first down.
Hassan Henderson, 6'5", 220 out of Las Vegas High. He's a big target. And again, Tyler Stewart extending the play and using his legs, getting outside the pocket. Nick Rolovich, really,
that's the end of the first quarter.
Really likes Stewart's athleticism.
7-0, the Wolfpack with the lead on the road here. After one quarter, the offenses have not gotten going yet. It was a fumble forced on defense by Ian Seau, picked up by Matthew Lyons, who took it 30 yards. And it's a one-score game, 15 minutes in. Ready for the start of the second quarter here in Fresno, California. 7-0 lead for Nevada on the road, trying to snap a 3-game slide against this Fresno State team. First down and 10. James Butler reverses course, nowhere to go with it. Good job of second pursuit there by the second layer of defense from the Bulldogs.
Really good play by Claudel Lewis, a defensive end as well, striking James Butler in the backfield. And you know, again, that Fresno State defense, they want to stop the run, and they want to make Tyler Stewart, the quarterback, throw it. And that's where this game gets interesting, because the chess match going on between the coordinators. If you're Nick Rolovich, the offensive coordinator for Nevada, you want to throw one down the field here pretty soon.
Second down at 14. Four-man rush from Fresno State. Pass to the perimeter, caught by Wyatt Demps, his 21st catch of the year. And Jamal Ellis is quickly there to hop on his back.
Ellis doing a good job there, but I think Ellis should almost close a little quicker and, you know, put a little pressure on the receivers. Play him a little tighter, because you know Tyler Stewart's not an accomplished thrower. You might even get an interception or a tip ball. Something might happen. And I think Nick Toth, the defensive coordinator, wants those guys to play with a little more fury and take a few more chances.
And a chance to get off the field here. They've got pressure. A flag flies as the throw is intercepted. Bulldogs have it, and here they come. They had gone 5 games without an interception, and the streak comes to an end in the hands of Taekwon Glass.
Mike, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Number 77, offense. The penalty is declined. The play resulted in an interception. First down, Fresno State.
We're gonna have a chop block that's going to end up being declined, but here is what they do. James Bailey, 24, comes off the edge, right side of your screen, and he just blows up Tyler Stewart, gets him into a bad throw, and then Taekwon Glass right there making the play. And just a great play that time by Glass, who was staying very close to the receiver and comes down with it, and then just has a great return on top of that.
Their first interception since September 19th against Utah. Sets them up with great field position. And the ground game keeps on turning. Dustin Garrison, the transfer from West Virginia, sets him up in the red zone.
Well, they have finally gotten some good field position, and it really credit the defense and Nick Toth bringing a lot more pressure that time and people off the edge of the formation, off the slot, and Garrison giving Martez Waller a little breather.
Garrison stays in the game and is quickly swallowed up Backwards about 2 yards. Lenny Jones coming up on the help again.
And Garrison himself had a 60-yard run for a touchdown against Air Force in that first quarter against the Falcons. Played in Colorado Springs, and that was just a game that they had come off a win with UNLV. They were looking for a back-to-back win, and then they just faltered. They just faltered against the Falcons.
It's a tough offense to stop. Third and 3, they fake the run, they throw the short pass, and they have the completion to Malik Meisenheimer, his 5th catch of the year for the 3rd string running back. Caught the defense off guard.
And Meisenheimer is one of the captains. He's a big, strong dude, 6 foot, 240-pounder, and they end up running a little bit of a play action. Meisenheimer just out in the flat, and it's just a great call by Dave Schramm that time, because you get the ball out quick enough, you're not going to take a sack, and Meisenheimer does a nice job catching it, turning it up the field.
Inside the red zone, they fake the run again. Flip it to the other side. Dobrich comes up to make the tackle on Meisenheimer.
Well, that's what you get when you play a great linebacker. Jordan Dobrich, one of the brightest Nevada players, an academic, all-conference player, just a really heady guy, high football IQ there to make the stop. And of course, he's a senior, so he's been on a lot of tackles, and he's the 3rd leading tackler for Nevada this year.
Mechanical engineering major, 6 tackles already. Swing this out to the left side. The wide receiver, Jameer Jordan, lowers his shoulder and takes it inside the 10-yard line.
Jameer Jordan, finally, they get him in space, and I think that's the key, is just unleashing his potential, and just a great play that time up the sideline, 1st down, or 3rd down, sorry.
And quick to the line of scrimmage, Anderson bounces a pass intended for Josiah Blandon.
And that was so crucial. It's a 3rd and 1, and Anderson, yeah, he just, I think almost like he burned the ball.
4th down and 1, and the field goal unit comes onto the team for an offense that has only scored 72% of the time in the red zone, 8th lowest in FBS. The crowd not happy with the decision to bring on the field goal unit. Cody Croning for a 25-yard try. Got it. And the Bulldogs are on the board. 7-3, so they get their first points off their first interception in 6 games. Nick Toth, the defensive coordinator, dialing up the pressure. Tyquan Glass coming up big. I'm not a West Coast guy like you, Tom. Is this a little bit of an unseasonably chilly night here in Fresno?
Anything under 70 is chilly in California. You know that. Come on.
Coming into the parking lot and seeing the attendants with scarves and hats. Come on now. Drive ends with 3 points for Fresno State. And on the return, it's out across the 20-yard line for Elijah Mitchell.
You know me, Mike. It's all about shorts and flip-flops.
Right, that's the way to live life. When we spoke with Nick Rolovich, the offensive coordinator for Nevada earlier this week, they had come into this game being held scoreless in the first quarter in the last 4 games. To use the word he did, he said his offensive play calling was too exotic. Now, the defense ended up scoring the 7 points in the first quarter, but how did you feel about his play calling in that first 15 minutes?
I thought they did a good job, and they got off early because their defense was playing so good. Now, you got to remember, their last time out against Hawaii, they were down 17-0 in the first half. So that was a complete lack of offensive production.
In a game that they stormed back to get a win against Hawaii. James Butler, the sophomore, gets the carry on first down. Butler, the 5th most rushing yards in the Mountain West Conference. Don Jackson, his partner in the backfield, 6th in the Mountain West. These 2 guys combined would make one of the best running backs in the country yardage-wise, second only to Leonard Fournette, who's the Heisman frontrunner right now from LSU.
And they're the only 2 backs combo of in the country, both over 650 yards.
The Bulldog defense sniffs it out through the middle. Jeff Camilli with a nice job getting his head in there. It's interesting to think about that the second leading rusher in the country is from the Mountain West Conference. It's Brian Hill out of Wyoming, but these two guys jump up over that. Irvin edges them out in the yards per game here, as you see.
Yeah, but the duo, you know, at 180 yards, almost 180 yards a game, I mean, that's an impressive 1-2 punch. And then you, of course, Tyler Irvin, San Jose State, Brian Hill, Wyoming, Donnell Pumphrey, having a great year for the Aztecs of San Diego State.
It's a 3rd down and 6 for the Wolfpack. Stewart loads up, throws into double coverage down the sideline, and completes it. Hassan Henderson taking it all the way. A risk that pays off for Stewart as he throws his 12th touchdown of the year, this one for 73 yards.
Great call that time by Nick Rolovich, the offensive coordinator. They wanted to, well, it appears there's a flag down too, but going after the big fella Hassan Henderson, that's just out jump you.
The play resulted in a touchdown. After the play was over, personal foul number 77, offense. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Try for point.
So the foul comes after the play. Touchdown stands on the throw for Stewart.
So all of a sudden you have a 3rd down play, and Tyler Stewart just launches the ball. And, you know, it's just a great play, thrown over the top of Tyquan Glass to Hassan Henderson. You know, that's just finding the high point of the ball, and Henderson making a great play and taking it all the way to the end zone for Nevada.
Brent Zuzo with the extra point, got it. A perfect 27 of 27 on tries after this year, and stretches the lead to 14-3 for the Wolfpack. There's a 3rd down for Stewart, the junior quarterback for Nevada. He's hooked up with Henderson. Makes it an 11-point lead. (14-3), Nevada with the lead. 1 touchdown on offense. A career-long 73-yard strike from Tyler Stewart to Hassan Henderson. Just a 3-play drive that took all of 83 seconds. Their other touchdown coming on defense. So both phases coming through nicely tonight for Nevada as they lead here on the road and try and snap a 3-game skid against Fresno State. Damari Scott picks up the short kick and tumbles to the 35-yard line. Back to work here for Kilton Anderson. Just his 4th career start for the redshirt freshman from Naples, Florida. Inexperienced but exuberant, his coaching staff says, and nearly intercepted there off the hands of Jordan Dobrich. So as things stand now on Tuesday, we saw the initial rankings released by the College Football Playoff Committee. 1, 2, 3, 4 with Clemson, LSU, Alabama, and Ohio State. But as we talked about before, they're fun to look at now, but you look back to last year and these could change drastically coming toward December.
I don't think Nick Saban liked looking at him at all. Even though he's in the 4.
He said, don't ask me about it. Nice take by Waller. Help regain that penalty yardage.
Yeah, Waller, the offensive line does a nice job freeing him up this time. They pull guard, tackle from the backside, run a little counter action, and Waller getting up the field.
Quick throw, Jordan snares it, slips 1 tackle, he's inside the 35-yard line and cut down out of bounds. 16-yard pickup for Jordan, the redshirt freshman.
Again, that's the guy they want to get the ball to. He's the explosive one for Fresno State. Jameer Jordan, you can't give him the ball all the time, but you can give him the ball definitely out on the edge and in space.
Anderson with a quick draw finds Keyshawn Johnson His first catch of the night, stopped by Kendall Johnson, the sophomore from Lafayette, Louisiana, for a gain of 5.
I think it's really important they get points and get a touchdown on this drive. In particular, they're going up tempo a little bit right now.
4 wide receivers. Anderson hands off, and Waller finds a lane through the middle of that defense. And to the 24-yard line. Good blocking on the left side by Alex Fafita and Aaron Mitchell. Right back to the line of scrimmage. Waller stretching forward, hit by Matthew Lyons. It'll be a close spot here.
They're going to come up short again, Mike, on what was a 3rd and 1. And now it's going to be 4th and 1. Tim DeRuyter is going to have to make a head coach call here. I'd go for it in this situation.
The crowd booed when they didn't go for it on 4th down last time. 6 of 19 on 4th down this year. Anderson's got the first down and room to run, and he is gone. Touchdown, Fresno State from 24 yards out.
Well, again, the read option, Mike, and Dave Schramm over there, the offense coordinator, had my glasses on him. He pulled Kilton Anderson aside and said, listen, this is what you got to do. Ride the back, let him go all the way in, and then make a move. And he makes a fantastic cut and getting north and south into the end zone. And you like that checkerboard, don't you?
It's a beautiful end zone, especially Kilton Anderson probably thinks so right now. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. He's thrown 4 picks, thrown for 1 score, but he does a nice job of making Patrick Chowda miss and taking it in.
Yeah, it's just a great read with his eyes. He's able to make a move, stop on a dime, and go north and south. And there's a lot of congratulations coming his way. Tim DeRuyter's over there, Dave Schramm, all getting pats on the back for Kilton Anderson. That's just a great play by number 19. Yeah, and you know, the expectations here, Mike, in Fresno are high. Listen, you know, they are high. They've won Mountain West Conference championships. They were in the championship game a year ago against Boise State. And Tim DeRuyter, they win a lot of games here. They're 19-4 in 4 years. They control their home field. I think a lot of the Mountain West Conference schools do that. They do a nice job holding court.
Sellis takes it from inside the 5 to the 21-yard line for Nevada. Stewart on the run, finds Derek Gibson, his tight end. Nice grab by the guy who they say is more H-back than tight end and can move once he gets the football. And
that was actually Brian Polian's term a year ago. He said, we laid an egg in that game. And it was a, you know, it's funny. You know, when you win.
Jackson quickly wrapped up Kyrie Wilson.
Yeah, when you win, you have a short memory. It's the losses you tend to remember all too much. Nevada with a little pace here.
They fake the run up the middle, and then Stewart turns the corner to the 50-yard line. A first down for the Wolfpack.
And they finally eye the clock. They want to get a little up-tempo going and take a look inside there. Nice pull away from Tyler Stewart.
Taking it to the wide side of the field, but good pursuit coming from Jamal Ellis, the cornerback, who was able to sniff that out as the clock goes inside 5 minutes here in the second quarter.
Tyler Stewart couldn't find the sideline quick enough. He's not a guy that's going to take it north-south necessarily in between tacklers. He's going to get to the sideline a little quicker.
He's got Gibson to hold a block to his right, and he finds Richardson inside the 30-yard line. They are moving the ball at a frenetic pace here on this drive, trying to stretch their 4-point lead. That's a 20-yard hookup.
I like the call by Nick Rolovich. He moved the pocket a little bit, and then he put Jericho Richardson down the field.
Looking for a screen. And not a lot going on there. Wyatt Debs, the intended receiver, but Tyquan Glass was a disruptive force at the edge.
Glass looking for his second interception. They throw it quick out to the right side. And of course, that was the play before. Richardson getting down the field. That was a nice throw and catch.
Here's 2nd down and 10 as the pace slows for Nevada. Pressure off the edge. And Arine is there, and Stewart goes down. Glass and Arine combined to send Stewart flying backwards.
Arine comes into the game with 11 tackles for loss. That's number 12. I believe they're going to credit him, but both he and Glass on the blitz, and well, they might give him a half sack each on that. That's just a really good play by Arine, staying after the quarterback and chasing him outside of the pocket, getting him down on the sideline.
9th play of the drive, but it's a 3rd and 20 for the Wolfpack. Design run here for Stewart. Bulldogs are all over it. Gain of 7.
Safe play that time by the Wolfpack, and again, keeping the ball in the hands of Tyler Stewart. He ends up getting up the field, puts his eyes down the field as though it was going to be a pass, but I think the entire time it was designed quarterback draw just to get it closer for the kicker, Brent Zizou.
The junior out of Canton, Michigan, trying from 47. 83% for his career. It would be his longest of the season. Previous high is 41. This one's got the distance, and it is good for Zuzo. 17-10, Nevada with the lead. Zuzo lets it fly again. And Damari Scott over to pick it up. Crossing the field and crossing the 20-yard line. And down he goes. Anderson trying to architect a drive that could help tie this game before halftime. Play action, the blocks hold up nicely. His throw down the sideline. Jordan was his intended recipient, but Jordan was not looking for the football.
Now, I tell you what's really hard about that formation and throw is that it's into the sideline and you just squeeze the field down, and Kilton Anderson had nowhere to go with the ball. Someone on the Bulldog sideline made a nice catch, though.
That GA is getting promoted. 4 wide receivers on 2nd down. It's a quick screen. Josiah Blandon makes the grab. Bowling balls over a defender at the 30-yard line as he sends Kendall Johnson to the ground. And 2.5 minutes left here before halftime. Fresno State with a couple chances to stop the clock. See what Kilton Anderson can do.
And I think they're in the right formation. They spread out that Nevada defense, and they make them declare who's going to be a rusher, and who's not, who's going to drop back in pass coverage.
Anderson keeps it. He's got a 1st down, makes a couple defenders miss, moving laterally across the 40-yard line. So dangerous with his feet. Ran for 24 yards on his score and keeps the drive alive with a gain of 16.
And Kilton Anderson, when he was in high school, he played a couple years down in Naples, Florida. He was in a veer offense. That's why he runs the ball so well. He has great quick feet and able to elude tacklers.
Back to throw, 1st down, under pressure, heaving long, and through the hands of Jameer Jordan, who comes up wanting a flag and doesn't get one.
Yeah, I think the referees might have missed an arm around Jameer Jordan's waist, because I thought the ball was right on the mark, and he got hit in the head and shoved before the ball came down. I mean, where's the flag?
Brian Lane Jr., the linebacker, was there with him in coverage, so nothing doing there, but a quick throw, and Josiah Blandon helps him move further into Nevada territory. 2nd catch of the night for Blandon, the junior from Long Beach, California.
And he's a good-looking long receiver, 6'4", 215-pounder.
Looks like the exact same play down to the 30-yard line, right at the first down marker to Blandon.
Yep, they know when they have something, you have a mismatch against a corner, keep going after it. Now you need to run a little sluggo, a little slant and go.
Anderson, a bullet. He connects with Delvon Hardaway. He's spreading it out for the entire wide receiver core.
But Fresno State with 2 timeouts, a lot of time here.
No help in the backfield. And a quick throw. It's caught by Hardaway.
Looks like they're going to try and down the ball.
Right back to the line, and they stop the clock with 46 seconds left.
You know, I think what I would have done there is I would have gone up to hurried up to the line and run a running play. I would have handed off to Martez Waller. Then I would have called timeout, because now you burned a play. Now you have a 3rd and 4, and you know, it's just again.
So you're saying you wouldn't have spiked the ball? They've got 2 timeouts.
Yeah, I would have run the ball, then called timeout, because you have plenty of time on the clock, and you had 2 timeouts.
And favorable field position with the ball at the 13. Anderson tucks it, a juke, and gets maybe a yard. And now it's 4th down.
Yeah, and he almost got the ball knocked out of his hands.
The second charge of the half, 30 seconds in length.
Good news was he wasn't careless with it, so Fresno State down to their last timeout.
The spike is just a head scratcher there.
Yeah, sure was. not for Brian Polian. He was happy they did it. So I think it's going to be maybe a fake to Waller, pull it out, and a run pass option with Kilton Anderson.
Waller in the backfield, left. And a quick throw. The ball is caught, and it's a completion inside the 5 for Jordan.
That's how you win games sometimes. You go for it on 4th down during the game. Kilton Anderson, just a quick catch and throw.
Anderson rolls and throws. Touchdown! Josiah Blandon with his 4th touchdown catch of the year, and a chance to tie for the Bulldogs.
Blandon with 3 catches on that drive, and that was a 13-play drive. And boy, you know, a nice exclamation point here. Little play action, nice crossing by the backs in the background, and Blandon just leaves his man stranded. Just a great play. Really good ball faking action in the backfield.
Extra point is no good from Cronin. Well, for Fresno State, a team trying for an upset bid here at home, they're going to have to hope that one does not come back to haunt them in the second half. They only averaged 21 points a game on the year, and they're down by 1 at home, trying to make it a 4th straight win against the Wolfpack. But it's 17-16 Nevada at the half. Pretty good one here on a chilly Thursday night in Fresno, California. 1-point game. Let's join Adnan Virk, Danny Cannell, Joey Galloway for the Land Rover halftime report after this quick break. Getting ready for the start of the second half in Fresno, California. The Nevada Wolfpack, thanks to a missed extra point, have a 17-16 advantage. A little bit of a chilly night, but a good one for football. Mike Cousins, glad to have you along with former UCLA and NFL quarterback Tom Ramsey.
I think the most interesting thing here, Mike, is that they possessed the ball almost 17 minutes, and their last game in its entirety, they had the ball for 17 minutes against Air Force. So there's some good things happening. Total yards 200, over 200. And I think the other important thing is they got 13 first downs. They got a lot of them on that last drive, and they seemingly used the clock well. They played with fire a little bit with that last timeout. I think Coach Tim DeRuyter was looking for a challenge play, didn't get it. The numbers on the quarterbacks tonight, I think what's going to happen, both quarterbacks have to throw it to win it. I think both defenses are doing a great job stopping the run tonight.
And you look at what Don Jackson and James Butler did combined in that first half, and it was a very quiet half running the football for Nevada, with those two guys combined would be the second leading rusher in the country.
Yeah, combined they had a total of 15 yards between them.
With Stewart doing the rest in the ground game. So Fresno to kick. And Andrew Sellis is back deep for Nevada. From the 7-yard line, here he comes. He gains the 20 and hits some traffic. Stop at the 26-yard line. Just to give you a picture of how things picked up there in that second quarter. First quarter, these two teams combined for 75 yards and 4 first downs. In the second quarter, 295 yards and 14 first downs. First touchdown scored by Nevada came on a fumble recovery and a 30-yard touchdown for Matthew Lyons, and then the offense got going.
I think it's important here for Fresno State to get a stop early on defense, capture some momentum, and then on the flip side, if you're Nevada, you really kind of ran out of gas in the second quarter. You got to make something on your early drives right now.
First call is a give to Butler through the middle with a great second effort, keeps that pile moving. Shannon Edwards, the safety, got his hands on him and helped stop the run after a gain of 6.
Well, the defensive coordinator, Nick Toth, said, hey, if you guys are calling our defensive ends names a lot, that means we're having a good game.
Those are the two guys who have to really step up. Todd Hunt, Claudel Lewis. Now a third down and short for Nevada.
Very manageable third down for Nevada. I think one of the key to their zone read plays out of that pistol offense they run is that the quarterback really has to sell it, and he's got to make a good read.
Stewart with pressure bearing down, lobs it up one-on-one. Oh, what a grab. Hassan Henderson falling backwards at the 40-yard line. 30-yard grab for Henderson, the junior from Vegas.
Kind of a heave-ho to the big kid, 6'5", and Tyler Stewart's eyes took him all the way back across the field. Just a remarkable throw and catch.
Butler bursts through the middle, shakes 2 tackles, and is taken down at the 9-yard line, a 14-yard gain before Tobena Okeke getting the start at linebacker, coming back from injury, drags him to the ground.
James Butler really having a nice year coming into this game, over 750 yards rushing, averaging 6 yards a carry.
They're quick to the line and quick to make a decision with the football. Right back through the middle again. It's Butler, who in their last game, 28 carries, 134 yards against Hawaii.
You know, one of the folks I visited with before the game, Pat Hill, the old Fresno State coach, came up, said hello, came by the box, and you know, he said, hey, this is going to be a battle. And these two teams, they just don't like each other. Nevada, Fresno State, they've had some good rival games. That's why it goes all the way back to the Western Athletic Conference days when they get after each other.
3 down linemen for Fresno State. To give to the right side for Butler. He hashes his way to the 4-yard line. 6 yards on the run. Butler, the bell cow on this drive. Not seen Don Jackson. It's all Butler as they alternate drive by drive, at least in an ideal world.
Ederaine, the outside linebacker, again holding the edge and turning Butler back into a host of tacklers. And this is where it gets interesting, right? Third down. The one guy they haven't thrown the ball to tonight is Jared Gibson, the tight end H-back.
The quarterback rolls. He's at the boundary.
I thought the quarterback may have stepped out of bounds before he threw the ball. Tyler Stewart was just tiptoeing along the sideline. May be able to see it from the end zone camera. Ball needs to come out early.
And what you'll see, too, is that number 12, Hassan Henderson, the official at the back of the end zone, throws his hat down, signifying that the receiver stepped out of bounds.
Well, he never threw the ball.
Field goal try for Zuzo from 30. And a stalled offensive drive leads to 3. 20-16, Nevada in the lead. The offensive line drawing some flags and keeping it close in Fresno. It's Nevada up by 4 here in Fresno, California at Bulldog Stadium. My cousin's Tom Ramsey. Next we're with us tonight, a 12-play, 62-yard drive, just about 6.5 minutes, capped off by a Brent Zuzo 30-yard field goal.
Well, Zuzo's having a good game, kicking it deep. Damari Scott, remember, he's a bit only about 1 block away from breaking one tonight.
And here he comes from his own 5-yard line. Not that time. Well, he escapes 1 tackle. There he goes with some momentum out to the 30-yard line. A 25-yard return for Scott. Waller on first down over to the left side, stopped by Jordan Dobrich, the senior mechanical engineering major who was just inducted into the National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete class. $18,000 postgraduate scholarship.
You know, as Nick Saban said today, if you're not, you know, in that last group of 4, at the last before they select, it really doesn't matter. So all of this is for all the pundits, all the fans across America. I think it's great. I think it's great folly. But until the end of the season, there's so many great games, and this weekend there are some great games.
Clemson, Florida State among those, as well as Alabama, LSU. Third and 6 now. After the incomplete pass intended for Jordan. Dobrich shows pressure, backs off. A stunt along the defensive line. And a throw to the sideline is incomplete, intended for Damari Scott. Good coverage from Kendall Johnson to force a 4th down.
Boy, the ball went in the right direction. Looked as though Scott had single coverage along the sideline, and the ball came out well. Might have been just a hair laid out of Kilton Anderson's hands, but I thought Scott had an opportunity to catch the ball there.
Have you liked what you've seen throwing the ball with Anderson tonight?
I did when they went up tempo. I liked it a lot.
Swanson airs it out. Sellis hops back to the 24-yard line. 7:30 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's tight between these two Mountain West rivals. Wolfpack with the ball when we return. 4-point lead for Nevada here in Fresno. Up 20-16 with 7:30 left here in the 3rd quarter. Stewart, the architect of this offense. And here they go from the 24. A dart to the edge. And a gain of 5, maybe 6 for Jericho Richardson, the junior from North Hills, California.
Yeah, I think tonight's play calling, Nick Rolovich, the offensive coordinator for Nevada, did a nice job. Mix, run and pass. And one of the interesting things, talking to Rolovich this week, one of the guys he really spent a lot of time with was Tom Herman, the offensive coordinator that was under Urban Meyer that won the national championship with Ohio State. And Tom Herman, the same Tom Herman, now the head coach at Houston, the 8-0 Houston Cougars. So when coaches start sharing secrets, it gets interesting.
That's a first down carry. Right through the middle for Jackson, back onto the field. How much does that happen in the offseason? Maybe people don't realize how much sharing of ideas there is.
Quite a bit. You know, and coaches are really giving if there's some chemistry and there's some connectivity, and there always is, because football's 2 degrees of separation at all times. But, you know, a guy like Nick Rivalry can call up Tom Herman and go, hey, I kind of want to understand more about that, you know, the read option. How does it all come together?
Heavy blitz comes in, and nowhere to go for Jackson. Tobena Okeke helps lead the charge.
And all of these coaches want to get better. They're teachers, right? They want to learn. And tell you what, having Okeke back in the lineup, he's been injured a little bit, had a knee, and when he comes off the edge, he is danger zone, man.
You have Okeke on the outside, paired with Adro Ederaine on the opposite side. Two very dangerous outside linebackers in the 3-4 scheme.
Okeke's only a sophomore.
The Bulldogs bring 4. Stewart steps up through the pocket. He's got great speed, burns the 50-yard line, and goes down to the 41. Finally covered up there by Shannon Edwards, the safety. He can take off and move. That was 25 yards.
You know, the other guy, well, you got to remember Nick Rolovich, he himself was a great quarterback at the University of Hawaii, and then he ended up GAing out there too. And the other guy he picked brains was Mouse Davis, the old architect of the run and shoot offense. Taking you back before your time there, Mike Cousins.
Pressure off the edge. The Wolfpack goes through the middle. Jackson gets the carry again. You see them alternating carries between Jackson and Butler, drive by drive. Still a part of the game I'm sure they'd like to get in better gear. Coming into this drive, Jackson and Butler, those two have combined for only 47 yards.
Yeah, I think they are doing a nice job of spelling each other and getting the other one back on track. But Fresno State still, they're awfully tough to run against tonight. They're bringing guys off the edge.
Jackson behind a good push from his offensive line. Saw Jeremy McCauley getting through there, and it's a first down.
Fresno State that time bringing Taekwon Glass on a corner fire or a corner blaze where he just comes from the boundary on a blitz, more or less unannounced, and trying to blow up a play in the backfield. But Don Jackson that time taking it right up the middle.
Jackson with a burst through the middle, carries the pile down to the 8-yard line.
Boy, when you get that big third down conversion and then you're able to hustle up to the line of scrimmage and you have a running back, a senior running back like Don Jackson, who knows that if he hits the hole going 100 miles an hour, they're going to have a tough time getting their arms around him. And that was just poor tackling that time by the Bulldogs.
Jackson now 37 yards, puts him at exactly 2,000 for his career. And quickly wrapped up on the second down carry by Claudell Lewis.
Claudell Lewis is not a poor tackler. He's having a nice night tonight. Wrapping up Don Jackson that time at or behind the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 1. Jackson, the senior from the state capital, is in the backfield. He gets the carry through the middle, quickly stood up by Wilson, and the spot shows that he's short of the first down marker, which would be 4th down.
Really close. Nathan Matson, the nose tackle, back from injury. Boy, he stuffed him.
And it is 4th down. And a yard.
Right over center is where the ball's going to go. And oh man, he's hit hard.
Big to have Madsen back from injury. Didn't play versus Air Force because of a leg injury.
Yeah, Kyrie Wilson, 17, drilled him.
Zuzo, 2 of 2. This try from 25 is true.
42 seconds remaining.
Nevada has had its chances to try and pull away from Fresno State, but a couple of field goals help keep it close. One touchdown is the difference. A one-touchdown game here at Fresno, California. The Bulldog fans like it. 23-16. Nevada leads Fresno State in what has been a hotly contested rivalry the last few years. The Bulldogs have won each of the last 3 matchups.
Chilly in the valley tonight, the San Joaquin Valley, one of the farming capitals of the U.S.
I'm already set to go home with a big package of California raisins. Have to find room for that in the suitcase. Damari Scott, still looking to break something big tonight, is out of bounds. Speaking of plays, here's just the 4th play of this quarter by the Bulldogs. Time of possession has not gone in their favor this year. A couple weeks ago against Air Force, held the ball for fewer than 20 minutes. This quarter, they've held the ball for 54 seconds prior to this drive.
Yeah, it's remarkable. We both looked at each other and said, really, under a minute for time of possession. I think what they have to do is get back into their up-tempo offense, get Nevada back on their heels, and start making some plays.
There's a lot of confusion as to who should be where. Martez Waller, the running back,
End of the third quarter.
is all over the place. And fortunately, it does not yield a penalty for Fresno State, rather triple zeros in the end of the third quarter. You know, Fresno State at 2-6, looking for their 3rd win of the year. Nevada on the road 4-4, and just 7 points separate these two teams. On a chilly night, it'd be best to wear the flannel shirt, right? But you keep moving, you stay warm. Maybe a kilt-like look for Kilton Anderson, a redshirt freshman quarterback. And he gives it up. Out across the 20-yard line, Kevin McReynolds up to make the tackle on Martez Waller.
It's been tough sledding. It's been tough sledding for that Fresno State offensive line against a very stout defensive line of Nevada tonight. Rakeem Yates, number 55, kind of in the middle there, in the heart of that defense. He grew up here in Fresno, and he hates the Bulldogs.
Short carry out right to the marker. Yates, number 55 for Nevada, claims to have never gone to a Fresno State football game, even though he grew up in Fresno, which just seems counter-logical, really.
Yeah, Edison High, he was very vocal about it this week, and nice article in the Fresno Bee the other day, and he's like, I never went to a game. Come on now. Come on, Rakeem, we know you went to 1 or 2.
Well, 1 minute into the 4th quarter, and on 4th and 1, here comes the punt team for Fresno State. Swanson airs it out. Sellish back at the 27, and great special teams coverage. No return for Sellish on a 52-yard punt. 13:36 left in the 4th here in Fresno. The second half has consisted of 2 3-and-outs for the Fresno State offense. So they lean a lot of pressure on the defense right now here early in the 4th quarter to try and come up with a stop, regain the football. Don Jackson runs into Kyrie Wilson and is taken down after a pickup of about 4. And this is where the test comes, Tom, for the Fresno State defense. Nevada scores here, and this one might be out of reach.
Well, they have to get a stop here. They've given up too many points. They've given up too many yards this year. You know, they've given up 41 points a game, Mike.
Which is 120th out of 127 teams.
Yeah, when you get in over 100, you've given up. You don't
far
want to be
too many.
Yeah. But here's a chance for them. You know, Nick Toth, the defensive coordinator, said, listen, effort is not negotiable. You got to play hard on defense. There has to be an air of physicality. There has to be accountability. And so now you have Nevada right where you want them, right? 3rd and 6. You got them in a longer yard situation and much less manageable than normal. And you put that ball in Tyler Stewart's hands again.
Not only have to worry about the pass, but also Stewart, who can run it pretty well. It's a 6-man rush. Stewart comes outside the pocket, and there's nobody there to stop him. Out across the 40, and a first down for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, they had a bust that time on the edge, and they lost containment. Tyler Stewart bought time. He felt the corner crash. Edirane went inside, picked the wrong angle, and then Tyler Stewart just comes out, and they were in man coverage down the field. Trots up the sideline, first down Nevada.
And they've got a 1st and 10 here after his latest scramble from the 40. He tucks it into James Butler. Nowhere to go with it. When Stewart takes off like that, does he look like any quarterbacks from years past here at Nevada?
You know, it's hard for me because when you watch the previous quarterbacks that have been in this program, Colin Kaepernick, Cody Fajardo, both are playing at the next level. Of course, Kaepernick at the 49ers, and Cody Fajardo was a free agent with Oakland and then got cut and ended up going and playing in the CFL with the Toronto Argonauts. But he's not as polished as the other two, for sure.
To be expected, just his junior season. Run through the middle. Butler is off to the races. He's got the 20, the 10, and he scores. 59-yard touchdown run for James Butler.
That's a big play right there, because that one breaks that Fresno State defense, and it breaks their will a little bit is what happens, because when you break the line of scrimmage and they caught him in blitz, they miss him in the backfield, and then it's James Butler, who's having a fantastic year, to the house for the Wolfpack.
Really stretching it out there, and the extra point makes it 30-16 in favor of Nevada. Butler going off for 59. His 5th rushing touchdown of the year. May have sealed this one for the Wolfpack on the road. 2 touchdowns not out of reach just yet for Fresno State as the Bulldogs get set to go back on offense, but they're gonna have to do something a little bit different than they've done on their 2 drives here in the second half. They've held the ball for a collective 2 minutes and 18 seconds and have gone 3 and out twice. They'll get the ball here to start their drive. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line.
First down for the Bulldogs at the 21.
Meanwhile, it's Greenlee back to work, and his throw finds Delvon Hardaway, the sophomore from Los Angeles.
And Teray Callaway comes in for the departed Rufus.
First down for the Bulldogs at the 21.
Callaway, the sophomore from Seattle. Greenlee against an empty backfield, swings it out to the perimeter. It's Meisenheimer with his 3rd catch of the game. And a flag comes in late as he goes inside the 15-yard line. Damian Baber coming over at the end of that play.
At the 13-yard line.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 23, defense. Half the distance to the goal, and an automatic first down.
Oh, this is just undisciplined football. Really, I mean, Meisenheimer gets tackled, he's out of bounds, and then he just gets drilled in the back by Baber. I mean, that's just an irresponsible foul, that right there. I mean, boy, your teammate just gets thrown out of the game, and then you come in and lead with hitting the guy when he's down.
Greenlee going end zone. There's a flag down, but the signal is a touchdown for Josiah Blandon. A score would make it a 1-touchdown game, but the flag has the penalty to nullify that. or the power for the penalty to nullify that.
Personal foul, shot block on number 75 and number 54 offense. 15-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
They called a chop block. I believe it's Vasquez, number 75, Jacob Vasquez, the right guard and the right tackle. If you're engaged, if the right guard is engaged with a defensive end, the right tackle cannot come down and hit him, and that's what happened. He hit him below the waist, and flag came right out.
So it wipes off the touchdown. Now Greenlee is taking off. Tiptoes the sideline, throws, and it's incomplete. A nice job to keep the play alive and targeting Michael Martins, who's still looking for his first career catch.
Boy, Greenlee kept the play alive right there. Zach Greenlee, he had to outrun a defender and get to the sideline, and then he somehow stayed in bounds and was able to almost make a play down the field. I think right now you're 2nd and 22. You got to go 4 downs here to get to the goal line of it's.
He steps up in the pocket, now tucks the football toward the sideline, just trying to buy time for a throw. He's got a completion. He's got a touchdown for Delvon Hardaway.
And I think Delvon Hardaway stepped out of bounds on his own and did not get pushed out of bounds. I think the referees are right on it on the sideline.
We see another hat come off. It's the second time we've seen that in this game.
Illegal touching, number 6 offense. The receiver went out of bounds on his own. Returned inbounds. It was the first player to touch the pass. Lost it down at the previous spot.
So it's an illegal touch, Mike. It's a loss of down. Here's what happens. Just because, watch Delvon Hardaway, he steps out of bounds. He does not get pushed out of bounds. So right there, he declares himself an ineligible receiver. He can't come back in. He can't be the first one to touch the ball here. And sure enough, he catches it, runs in the end zone. Everyone wants a touchdown, but it's a loss of down. And now you got 3rd down and goal to goal at the 22.
For Anderson, the quarterback, who led them to one of their 2 wins this year. A short throw across the middle is dropped by Jordan, the team's leading receiver. Now 4th down, 22 yards, and you got to go for it here. 4th and goal at the 22.
Malik Meisenheimer was out in front too. He had a block. You know, they had 7 drops a week ago. That wasn't a clean last 3 plays at all, but now you have to throw it into the end zone. You got to go 3 receivers one side, you got to throw it up, and it's a jump ball into the end zone.
The defense backing up, ready to play that goal line. Still a 4-man rush from the Wolfpack. Greenlee eyeing the end zone, heaves, and that pass is taken away. Damian Baber, who was flagged earlier on the drive, comes up with his 2nd interception, and that should just about seal it for Nevada.
I don't think Greenlee really gave his receivers a chance. The ball was kind of a flatly thrown ball.
On a line, he's trying to move out of the pocket, and a last chance heave by Greenlee is taken away at the goal line. Oh, a great defensive streak lives on for this Nevada defense. Now going to try and make it 5 straight games where they've only allowed 1 touchdown in the second half. Total 13 points. They take over after an interception back at the 1-yard line.
Well, and ball security is imperative here, coming off your own goal line. James Butler, 2 hands on the ball, bringing it out of the end zone. Fresno State might even want to consider calling a timeout here if they make a stop on this next play.
Just as a chance with some time on the clock to get the ball back.
Sure. They got a safety. Oh.
No, forward progress gets the ball out to the 1 yard line there.
I don't know about the forward progress. Jeff Camille hit the ball carrier at the goal line and drove him back. Camille from the inside linebacker spot. I mean, he jars him. He might have got the foot out.
It's third down. Timeout.
Butler just gets the ball across the point of the goal line to help avoid that safety. And exactly as you predicted, it's a timeout by Fresno State to stop the clock. They do free up some space there to about the 8.5 yard line on 4th down for their Ray Guy Award candidate punter Alex Boyd. Another timeout for Fresno
Please
State.
set the game clock to 3:54. 3:54.
Well, they did buy themselves some room there for sure off their own goal line. Yeah, you know, just my observation of Fresno State on the sideline, their offensive line, they're going to get the ball back in about 10 seconds, and they're not even standing up ready to go.
Starting position 45 after the 5-yard return from Damari Scott. Greenlee still in at quarterback, and a nice throw on 1st down. It's Keyshawn Johnson, a pickup of a baker's dozen and a 1st down, closing in on 3.5 minutes here in the 4th quarter.
And you can't even waste precious seconds here. You got to get up to the line, have another play called, and I mean, get the ball, get a couple big chunks of yards right now.
4-man rush, and it gets to him. He turns the corner, fires downfield, and he's intercepted again. Baber has his 3rd interception of the night, his 6th of the season, and a poor decision puts Fresno State out of it.
Well, and Nevada appears they're in line here to win 2 consecutive games, the first time in over a year. So Brian Polian, I'm sure this one, Greenlee just to say it's not a good throw is being nice. I mean, it's not even near the receiver.
His Wolfpack defense has had 8 interceptions the last 2 games, a number that was bolstered playing Hawaii. They had forced 4 turnovers against what is the least proficient team in the Mountain West this year.
Yeah, listen, Nevada, when you look at their upcoming schedule, right, they run into a little bit of a buzzsaw, right? They play
San Jose State and Tyler Irvin.
They play Utah State at Utah State after they host San Jose State, and then they go to San Diego State. So they're going to go play the Aztecs, who are undefeated right now, and on a big roll.
And that's not going to be easy.
No.
1st down carry is for Jackson. And we talked about this, how the Mountain West this year has not been a conference of quarterbacks as maybe it has been in years past, but especially running backs. Donnell Pumphrey at San Diego State and Tyler Irvin at San Jose State.
Well, and Rocky Long said that at the beginning of the year, I believe, at the Mountain West Conference Media Day. He said, listen, we've had quarterbacks. It's been a quarterback conference in the past. It's not this year. And he knew how good Pumphrey was, too. I think Rocky Long knew he had a great running back. I think they all did. Ron Carragher at San Jose State knew he had Irvin.
Jackson gets a breakaway. Defender closing in, and a Fournette-like stiff arm to keep Shannon Edwards at bay. And this offense just keeps on moving even late in the game, trying to run out the clock.
Offensive line of Nevada getting physical, putting hats on defenders, and watch the stiff arm. Get off me.
62 yards.
Good chunk of yards right there.
Butler takes it left. He's got room inside the 10 and is dragged down there.
inside the 10.
Yeah, when you're down, when you're playing 4 quarterbacks during the course of a year, and especially if you're playing them by mid-season, which Fresno State has been doing, there's some challenges that face the team. And, you know, even though they've been high-spirited and gone out to practice and done a great job, tonight the wind fell out of their sails.
Under a minute remains here in the 4th quarter. And the Wolfpack calls off the Dogs here inside the 10 and a half, where they had 270 rushing yards, and that's just in the 3rd and 4th quarters. What a night. So Nevada with the win tonight goes to 3-2 in the Mountain West Division. They've got San Jose State to come, and then San Diego State as well. Still a lot remains in their hands. With a win here, they pick up back-to-back wins for the first time since October 25th and November 1st of last year. And the first win for their senior class against Fresno State as they snap a 3-game slide against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Fresno State, you know, they had done a good job for 3 years, but time ran out on Tim DeRuyter and his Bulldog team tonight.
So it's 30-16 in favor of Nevada. For our entire crew, my partner Tom Ramsey, I'm Mike Cousins. We say thanks so much for joining us here from Fresno, California. Coming up next on ESPN2, NBA Tonight, Doug Kazarian and Brad Doherty.